Good morning. Popping on a couple minutes early because I wanted to make sure I could find it. Y'all get to see my dirty desk. Oh well, it's clean once in a while. Well, hi, Arlene, Laura, and Teresa, and Valerie. I'm glad you're all here. Well, good morning, Mrs. Kim. Have you already been to the farmer's market today? Uh-oh. Does that mean it's too cold or the air's too yucky? And Laura, have you had your coffee yet? Hi, Darla. I don't know why Darla's name is so much fun to say, and it comes out always sweet. Hi, Carol. She is Valerie, that's for sure. Oh, well, that makes sense. That sounds good together, Darla Jean. I used to love watching Reba McEntire, and people would call me Reba Jean. That was a long time ago. I couldn't carry a tune then either. So I guess we can get started here. We've all got some hellos in, and we're ready to play. I did do. Hi, Sue and Susan. Yay, guys. I myself struggled finding it too. When I did lives a long time ago, like before Defy, I never had a problem. But now when I schedule it, it's very hard for me to find. And so I actually had to Google this morning to see how to find my own live that I scheduled. Crazy. I think maybe I'm going to try using StreamYard since I don't have to worry about the cost because I don't do this every day or every week even. I'm going to do StreamYard and then maybe I can drag somebody in once in a while to say hey with me. We can be really sassy. Hi, Sherry. So, if any of you seen the preview, this is what we're going to do. I'm calling it a snippet book. It is an accordion book, and there's signatures in each fold, but its spine comes out, and it just has all these little signatures. Why do I call it a snippet book? Because we're going to use this to glue things onto, to staple things onto, to tape things onto, maybe even paper clip things onto. And we can put little bits all over it, in it, hanging off of it, whatever. So this can be a source book for some of our other projects. Hi, Karen. And oh, isn't that pretty? Could make a display book that way. Okay, so um, anyway, um, I have a lot of little books planned, and um, I like to add weird stuff to my books, and I love little books. I just love little books. I probably have 3 or 4 bigger books started, and I always want to do the little books in between. So if you seen yesterday, and then if you, well, I guess even if you didn't, what we need today is a sheet of cardstock, and I went with a sheet because you're going to need 2 strips to put your cover together. This is what I'm using. This is one of my painty papers. I made some. The reason this one was small is because I had cutoffs of some of these for a project I did with some of my classmates. Well, hi, Kim. Anyway, this was one of them. And this was supposed to be a cover for the little books they made, but this was supposed to be on the pages. So I kind of screwed up. So I'm going to use this for my cover. And then you need papers to make pages. And I have just a bunch of different painty papers and some book pages and all different sizes. Just stuff. You're going to need little bits of lace and ribbon and stuff. You're going to need little bits of paper for decorating and making clusters. And I don't know what we're going to make. We're just going to make. We're going to need thread to stitch things on if we want to. We're going to need thread to bind the pages in our little book. We're probably going to need scissors. And we maybe will need big scissors. And we maybe will need glue. And I'm going to be using a stapler because it's the quickest and easiest for me in showing what I want to do. So I'm going to use my little stapler. Probably I'll pick up other things and use them too, but this is the basics. And I've actually had to save small scraps for this project because I don't normally. But then when we make these things, we can move them over to another project. Like this is one that will be coming soon. The slide kit book. And I will be making a kit on this because I do have plenty of slides. I had this one. This one's been done for a long time, just to this point, because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. So this one was another one that I did. These are plastic slides. I didn't realize I had plastic. And so I wanted to see, and I was able to ink them up with a permanent ink. You have to let it dry, and I stamped on it and decorated it that way, and it works just fine. Well, then I kept playing with it, and these are kind of floppy, but look, you could do this, and then you could hang this use this as a bookmark, and this part hangs on front of your book, so you could have another little book on a book. There's nothing wrong with that. But I even played with it completely. Whoa, where'd that fuzz come from? So these are the plastic, and I used the alcohol markers on these, and it's still kind of messed. I probably should have let it dry a little longer. And so I just kind of smeared it, and it's kind of cool. And I poked holes, which was really a pain. Plastic is hard. And just stitched around it. So, oh yeah, that would be cool. Little Christmas tree ornaments. Well, you just work long, and if y'all want to pop in and say something, you just do it. We want to have fun today. We want to be wild and crazy. Okay. maybe not super wild because I'm still not fully awake. So this was the original book. Well, actually, the original book was Kim Polton's. I stole it with her permission. Hers is way cooler, and I liked it, but I tend to, especially for the prototype of anything I ever do, especially if it's going to be a kit class or a YouTube thing, I use what's right here on my desk. Well, that's your opinion. Anyway, like I said, I use what's on my desk, what's handy, because that's just how I roll. Alrighty, so let's get started. What you want to do is figure out the height of your book. We'll get this one back over here. Like, this one was this way because I had strips of this cut all clipped together because I wasn't going to waste it when I cut it off. So that's why I chose this one. I want to make this one today a little bit bigger. Maybe you can see it better. And maybe I want to add bigger stuff. I don't know. But this, well, hi, Susie. I didn't see you come in. If I did, then hi again. And if I didn't, hi. So I'm going to cut this with the paper cutter. And I know that it's 8.5. So half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So this is going to be my book, this size. You can make yours whatever size you want, whatever size you might have papers for, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to glue them. And I actually overlapped close to 1/2 inch because it's going to have a fold here. So you want it to be really good and sturdy. And probably I'm going to use stick glue because that's what I have handy. But probably you can use any kind of glue that works for you. I'm trying to find a piece of paper to put down under here. I have 2 cardboards. One is kind of clean. The other is not clean at all. But my camera doesn't like it. So I'm just going to put some glue on here. And if you're using stick glue, if you've watched any of my videos or watched me play, I use stick glue. I know not everybody likes it, but it works good for me. And you want to be really generous with it. And you want to burnish it very well. And once I make sure it's stuck, I kind of go like this with my hand. Something tells me that maybe, just maybe, the heat helps too. I'm not sure that it does, but it sure can't hurt. So once it's glued down, we're gonna fold it. But we're gonna let that dry just a little bit because, like I said, we're folding it on there. So we know that this is going to be 1. So we're probably going to need, we're just going to guess. We're not going to guess yet. We're going to come back here and to my little stack of pages. And the ones that are already hot, tall enough are great. And I don't want this sticky edge from the envelope. You can cut these. You can tear these. I played for a while yesterday, and I found out I was just as happy to just pick up my ruler and do this most of the time. It gives you a pretty straight edge, yet you still have that handmade look. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of fun, to sit here and rip things on purpose. And I'm just going to fold it, and it's not even. But I know this should fit in the book. It may be too long, but at least we're going to get a few of these ready in the right height. This is a printable that I had been cutting up things out of. So I'm just going to make sure it's the right height. I don't care if things stick out at all. I kind of like that, but I'm picky. They can stick out the side and the top, but not the bottom, because I don't know, maybe it's going to sit somewhere, and be a beautiful piece. I don't know. It's just, I don't, oh, look at that. That's got a cool top. So we're going to make that one fit here. Wait. With that cool edge. So I'm just prepping a few pages. As you can tell, I'm not being picky. Well, I am being picky. I'm sorry. I am. And you're right there. You are right. That does. Okay, so this has a hole punched in it. I'm gonna leave that there. I don't know why. I just am. I think it's a good thing. Maybe I'll use both of those. Yeah, this one's going to be good. So we got a few of those done. I'm hoping that this feels pretty dry. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half, the whole thing. And this is cardstock, so I have to be real careful on where I folded it so I don't, or where I glued it so I don't unglue it. Now, if you happen to have long sheets of paper, that works just as well. And it's not folding right smack in the middle, so that's okay. I'm going to grab bone folder. Why? Because I have it. But if you don't, grab your scissors, grab your glue stick, anything that'll give you a smooth edge. So there we go. Now we're going to accordion fold it. And I'm going to do it this way. And if you wanted it bigger, you could easily make it bigger. Just add another sheet to it. I made my book taller, so I don't have any more of the same paper. So what I'm going to do is I could leave it like this. That would give me 2, 3 signatures, which on this one is, this one is folded one more time because there's 5 signatures. So I can do it like this, or I can do it the other way. It's either, it's good either way. When I went small, that was right. I think if I go this time, those pages are going to be half of this. And I think I want it to be a little bit bigger. I mean, that's just what I'm feeling. So we're going to go ahead and refold this because well, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Yes, it does. It does. Because I want this to be on the outside. But this way, once they've been folded and refolded, they're nice and ready to go however you want them to. So here we go. Now we're going to put some signatures in. And if you're following along and you want to share, you can share in the Crafting for a Cause, or you can share in Kim Polton's. Kim, if you could put your Facebook group in here, Arlene, put Crafting for a Cause in there, or Darla or Laura. Either of those places, I'd love to share. You can tag me in it. I do have the supplies that we used listed under the video, and I have a new email address. So if you have any requests for anything you want to try or see or play with or anything, just put it in there, because hey, you never know. If you watched it Thursday, you've seen all the kinds of stuff I had in mind, and we can go over that again if somebody wants to see it today. But it's I'm game for anything. Like I said, this is helping me because I have started projects, and some of those are what I'm going to finish. So anyway, so let's go back to the pages. gonna fold. This is the last little bit of this. I don't know what I did exactly. I think I used stamp pads and water and stamps, but I don't know. But it's so pretty. I just don't remember what I did. And that's something I think we all do. We do something and then all of a sudden it's just the best thing and we don't know what we did. Okay, this one is, nope, it's not going to be longer. I thought it was going to be longer, but it's not. So I'm just folding these in half. All kinds of paperworks because we're not going to do a whole lot with these except put other things on them. Let's come with some of these shorter ones. We don't have to do too much trimming. Because you can have any size pages you want in there. Look, you can use anything. This was a calendar. I know most of these are going to be blank on the other side. That's probably going to bother me, but it's a source book. That's what I keep telling myself. It's a source book. So this one, this is 2 pages and one's almost enough. So I am going to fold this part of the way and this one part of the way. And let's just find something that, let's see, right here. We're going to take this here and I'm going to staple it because one, it's here and it's faster. You could sew these together because, you know, the threads are all, you know, whatever. How I folded the cover. Okay, hang on just a sec. Okay, I'm going to use this piece of scrapbook paper and I'm going to make another cover. 12 divided by 3 is 4, at least in normal math. And the reason I'm going with 3 is because I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. Okay, so you're going to glue them together. But again, if you didn't want to, you could staple them. You could tape them. You could sew them with a sewing machine, would be really amazing. So I'm going to glue them. And if you've got a quick drying wet glue, that might be better if you're going to do it right away. Kim, you're so funny. Yeah, you would have to get your sewing machine out, Laura. I didn't get mine straight here, but that's okay. I'm not going to, yes, I am. I'm going to go ahead and put the 3rd page on just because I want it longer. So now you get to see more than one way to do this. Again, I'm being generous with the glue so that it is nice and adhered. And okay, I don't have to worry so much right away because I'm not folding on that one right away. So I'm going to come over here and get in the middle and fold it. And then I'm going to fold it up again and fold it there. And then I'm going to fold it up again on the other side and fold it there. And you want a good fold. Okay, now this is way too big, and I'm sorry if I keep getting off screen. Honestly, I can't really see my whole screen today. I don't know what the deal is with that. I need to hide my taskbar, I think. So anyway, to me, this is too big. So I'm going to go ahead and go down one more time this way. And flip it over and do this one. Wrong. Do this one. And then I'm going to open it out. And I'm going to fold this one in. So this is a little different than the other one I did. And then open it and fold this one in. Am I confusing you more now, Laura? So now it's folded in all these different places. And now I figure out which one I want for the front, and I will have to reverse some of my folds. And there we go. Now we have our accordion book. This one will hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 signatures. So that kind of, you know, helps there. I'm going to grab something real quick. Maybe, maybe not. Things just kind of find their own place to live in my room. Okay. We're going to This is going to be our book, one piece. This is how I folded it. Fold it in half this way. And, you know, when I say it's one piece, it could be, you know, however long, but you just keep folding it back on itself. Like that. So there's a small one. Oh, I want this to be the outside. Not that it really matters, but because of it being, you know, not a book that we're going to use per se. So there you go. You can put 3 signatures in a single page like that. So you can make me shut up, Arlene. Is that what you're saying? So I did this. Of course, this is going to be too long. So I could do it so it folds out, but I'm not going to because, like I said, it's not a book we're going to work in. It's a book we're going to put things in. Oh, we'll get to that. I did forget that, didn't I, Kim? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So it doesn't hold quite the same signatures. I apologize for that totally. So we have this, and now we do need to get it set up for, God, Kim, I'm so glad you came in today. Anyway, we're going to set this up to put the spine in it. And it will hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still, instead of how many ever I said. So you have to end up like this on your folds. And should I start all over? Are y'all following me? This is why I was so nervous this morning. I went 3 times before I even started in 15 minutes, I think. Okay, so you've got this. You need to glue, tape, staple, whatever it is you want to do. If anybody's got any questions, stop me. It's been a long time since I've done this, and I want everyone to have fun and learn something. So anyway, we have this. We want to glue this down. I don't want to use stick glue because it makes it too wide. God, I can't believe I just really almost forgot this. So this is why I don't like wet glue. I'm not patient. It needs to come out now, and I need to not have to work so hard at it. So we're going to glue these two sides. I can't believe this, that I almost forgot this part. And this is the cool part. Kim's never going to let me steal off of her again. So I just glued it down and just going to help it adhere. And I do the other side. Old hands find this hard to do. Okay. Well, see, the thing you get, it's kind of like when you pay to take a class, but you're not paying for this one, is that um, you watch someone else do it, you pay to take a class, you watch a video, so you can learn from their mistakes. And believe me, I show all my mistakes. Sometimes I could just pretty much say, I'm kind of proud of my mistakes, you know? It is what it is. Okay, so we've done this, and we can let this glue and go on to the next part. But because we don't know how our spine, how many pages we're going to have in here, to how thick you need your spine. But what we're going to do is we'll use this piece of paper here because it's not big enough. We're going to take a piece of paper. We're going to slide it in that pocket we just made, which once you get this done and you're using it for your stuff, your supplies, your snippet book, you can stick some tags that you've made in there, things like that too. So you're going to do that. And you can kind of fold it. When you get a lot of pages in there, it's just going to curve and be perfect, you know. So now it's a book with a spine that's going to have all the stuff. And there is going to be signatures in here because we can take that out. Now, when you're adding things to that, you might want to be a little cautious to what you put in there so that it, you know, lets you still put the spine in and it's not too bulky. Yeah, it is, but you know what? It's worth it because editing is very, very time consuming. Oh yeah, that's right. Outstanding opportunity. So anyway, we have our cover, we have our pockets for the spine, which is the coolest part of the book, I must say. And I didn't do that for this one. So I am going to have to fold it one more time. Trying to think. I could put something on here, but then I lose the pretty. So let's see. Because I really wanted it this size. Nope. This isn't going to work. It'll be a different book. We're going back to this one. Yes, I could do that. I could just uh, go like this, and I could add a piece. Um, we can do that. It doesn't have to match because why? It's a source book. So I could add this on here. We'll just do this real quick. Just because, you know, if you make a mistake, you got to figure out how to fix it. So let's just do that. We'll figure out how to fix it. So I am going to glue this on here. Actually, for time's sake, so we don't have to wait, I'm going to staple it. Oh, today I'm using green staples. Kim L., are you still in here? I haven't seen you speak other than when you came in. Are you following along? Or are you... Oh. And people give me a hard time because I have 2 of every tools. This is why. Now this one's got gold staples. So we did that. I could trim this up because I don't cut straight. That's why I use a paper cutter. So we did this. We're going to take, because these are already folded in half. So we could use this as our spine. Now this one's going to be a little bit different, but this will show you what you can do when you want to use what you have. So there's your spine. You'll have your main signature, and you'll have 2 over here. And then you have this sticking out. Yes, you could cut it down. And it wouldn't show and nobody wouldn't be the wiser. I mean, you could glue this down and only make it that size. But I don't know. This is another place to add stuff. You know? It kind of works either way, honestly. Just a different way to look at it. So, just shows you. Use what you got. Make what you have work. Okay? So, let's take a vote. Do I work in this book for the rest of the, or do I work in this book? So, hi, Jamie. I was going to say earlier, and I forgot, when I put my glue down, this has been my tool of choice. This thing runs smooth. This is my Baron made by Jamie. And I'll tell you what, I have fallen in love with this lately. I've been using it like all the time. The smaller one, this one. Okay. Do we want to go? Let's take a vote. Wild or printed? Wild, printed. Wild, printed. Okay. It's going to be wild because that's the majority rules. Yeah. I was playing with a friend online the other day, and I swear I use that Baron for everything. I use it for the jelly plate. I use it for glue. Okay, so this is what we're going to do because why? It's different, and we might as well try different, right? Okay, so we got this. Let's start making our pages. And I'm sure anybody who makes books, goes overboard on signatures, or at least most of the people in the box over here, yeah, over here do, because I've seen it. So with my little one, I think I only put 3 or 4 pages in because some of them were really thin. But and most of these are, but there's a few, when you get a couple layers of paint on them, they're kind of thick. So just kind of play it by ear. If you notice, I fold them all with the plain inside. Wonder why. So that works. They stick out a little on the top. They don't stick out over here. We got this one here. I think this center one, we could do it a little bit bigger. Or not bigger, fuller. And I think it will be okay. So let's add a couple more small pages. And all of this is just tear off of other jelly prints and papers. So I'm going to add a couple more pages. Probably need to have a book page in there. This was somebody's school homework from the 40s. Let's put this one in there. And depending upon how you make your book and the pages and how thick you are willing to work with it, I think I can still do more. Yeah, just a few more. I like this one. We'll tear this one down a little bit. Yeah, it feels like it can use one more page. That one's too plain. Oh, and I think I said something the other day. Yes, I'm ready to play painty papers so bad. This, Laura should recognize this. Well, she should know where it came from. I was supposed to be printing on the other side, and I didn't pay attention, and it printed on the same side of all of them. And I still save this because this makes great collage material, or, like right now where I'm going to use it as a page. And last night when I was playing with another project that I shared a little bit of the other day, my AARP book that I tore into, it was a magazine, I tore it into a book, and I actually used this exact paper to make a little flower for that book. I just drew it right on there. You can never tell it wasn't printed right. So it's not that I'm tight and I want to don't want to waste it, but it's like, it's good stuff. So I have this done. I'm stopping here. No, I thought I was stopping here. So my husband is raking the leaves or mowing the leaves. Okay, so we'll put a little bitty one in there. So now we're going to make our signatures. You can do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I might, maybe that would be good for this one because it's bigger, but I'm still going to just do the 2 because it's easier. So I'm going to use an awl only because I got a lot of pages in here. I used the needle by itself, and I just put 2 holes in there. I am going to reach over here and get a clamp, mostly because I don't want it all moving around, and it doesn't look like a clamp is going to work. They're all too short, and I have a big paper clip somewhere. When the grands come over, they think those paper clips are toys. Let's try this bigger one and see if it goes in there and gets that little page. Yeah, it smashes that one a little bit, but it's okay. So I'm telling you all my little secrets. You see me reach across here. Up here in front of me is a little shelf built up so I can put things under it and on it. And I have 2 metal baskets that hold my watercolor pencils and my colored pencils. And I stick a magnet on it because they're metal. And then I can just keep a needle there, almost always handy. Oh yeah, a long arm stapler would be really cool. And I'm going to use this because I have a lot of pages. The other one I used embroidery floss, and honestly, I'll never use embroidery floss again. It just kept separating, and oh yeah, clothespin would have worked. No, I haven't. I probably should. So I just smashed that with my fingernail to make it flat because this is waxed. And then it threads just perfectly. So now we're just going to we determine if we want our strings on the inside or the outside. The problem with doing a desktop video, Jamie, is I've almost come into a habit of, as soon as I'm finished with what I'm working on, I clean it all up. So I'm going to put my knots on the inside. And come in this one. Been having a lot of trouble with my right thumb lately. It doesn't have as much grip as it used to. I don't like to say those things because the real reason for all of that is that I've used them for over 60 years. Anything that gets used over 60 years doesn't work as well. So we have our knot. You can even leave these long and hang things off of them. And I was thinking when I'm done, because I didn't do it with this one, but I was thinking I might with my next one is like somewhere along the edge somewhere, poke a couple holes so that I could hang some charms with ball pens. So I am going to give this some love and squeezing. And so we have one in. We need to make 2 more. So I used almost everything that I prepped for that on this book, or that one signature rather. So I don't know that I want these to stick up so much. So we're going to go ahead and tear them down. We're going to do both of them. This is my favorite ruler for tearing. I have looked for this since I got it for another one for a friend, and I can't find it. But this one's decal. This is straight. It's nice and thin. You can hold it down easy. Good morning, Susie B. So there's 2 pages, 3 pages, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's use that in there. 9, These two, 10 and 11. This one is my stamps, my hand carved stamps, and I stamped the whole page of them. I've cut things out of them. We're just going to use it just as it is. So there's that one. And I'm going to be making 2 signatures, so I could use just a little bit more. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is when I inked up Shrinky Dinks. And this is the background paper, and it's just so pretty. But I don't want to cut it up. I want to use it in collage, so I'm going to use something here. I do have plenty of papers out. I just kind of had some picked out for, I thought I picked out enough for all of them is what I was trying to say here. So I have these two. They're really ugly. I was trying to clean up my brayers and paints and stuff. So let's do this side because it's already rough. Got a nice pile of other strips over here. You know, and I didn't use this one in the last one. So let's add something to this to make, oh, and here's 2 more. Well, this ought to be pretty good. Let's staple something to that to make it a little bit longer. And let's be kind of weird about it. There we go. Now, I probably would take these and sew them just because I want it to last. But like I said, for now, I want it simple. I need to find some place to put this mouse. I bump it and I lose my screen. I want it simple and quick. So this just makes this page longer and fits it right in there. So we're going to start folding these all in half to make our pages. These actually came out of one of my favorite books. I don't know if it's, oh, it is. It's calculus. All those graphs and all those numbers and stuff. It's just neat, but I don't know what it means. I don't know what they're telling me. I took it in school. I have no idea. I don't remember. Must not have been something I needed. And the crazy part, my 15-year-old grandson knows more about it and can do problems, and I have no idea what he's doing. Yes, I'm folding several at one time because I can. Applesauce sounds good. I'm not a big apple butter person, but I do like applesauce. And I had really never had homemade until recently. And I was like, whoa. So now we'll just pick out the pages we want to put together. Yeah, if we were making, and I don't mean to diminish this book and say it's not a real book, because it sure could be. It could be anything you want it to be. But for our purposes, we may actually even be able to tear out parts of these to use in collage and other books. Because when we start layering things on here and putting things in here that I have in my mind you, I haven't done this before. I just knew what I wanted it to be. So we're all learning today. We may make a little cluster and this end up being the back of it. So when we get ready to use it, we just cut chunks out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. Let's stay there for now. And then we'll just do 1, 2, 3. This one's going to be shorter. 4, 5. I'd love to stagger these. Yeah, I think I can do that and still hit the holes. Yeah, I think so. So it kind of counts as just one then. And put this one. Oh, let's put the one we made in there where we had to add to it. And this one. And yes, I do a lot of things by feel. I don't always count. We got 4 more pages. Oh, well, it's not going to hurt to put in 2 more in each one, right? Don't want 2 alike together. I don't know why. I just don't. There we go. So we have 2 more signatures. And again, a clothespin was a really good idea, Kim, but I don't think there's one in here. So we're just going to clamp that one and kind of make sure they're all going to get poked in the 2 holes. Okay. So I'm going to poke my holes. And I'm going to grab a bigger awl. I know there's a jewelry awl up here. See, they get a whole lot wider. I've never had pumpkin butter either. I love pumpkin pie though. Okay, so that handy little thing that I use for a needle holder. Oh, I did put it back. Wow. See how much easier that is, the bigger hole? Okay, so the signature's done, but I forgot to put it in the book. So we'll put it back up here. And this side's the bottom. Now we'll poke that hole back in the book cover. Good thing it's just 2 hole, because if I'd had to take out a 3 hole, that would have been more work. Come on. There we go. So there's one signature. Oh, I'm loving this. Totally loving this. And now we're going to poke the holes in this one, but this time we're going to be smart and put it in our book first. And you know, you could measure this and make sure, because you know your stitching is going to show on the outside, but I'm not going to. Neat way to save your spot, because my needle is out of thread. So is anybody following along and making one as we go? Not that you have to. This is going to be here, so. Yep, I pretty much often have something upside down. It's kind of standard policy, I believe, for myself. Put my needle back. It's probably the only thing in my room that is gets put back where it's supposed to. And I'll trim this just a little bit. I might hang something off of this, so I just don't want it that long. So now our book is pretty much done. I can find something to stick in this pocket. I forgot my page with the hole in it. This is a little too wide. Let's just go ahead with another one of these because they kind of match, and why not, right? It's here. So I'm going to put this in as my spine. I may want it a little bit wider though, honestly. I do want it a little bit wider so that it really supports the book a little bit better. And so I'm going to have to hunt a little bit because I want a heavier, like a cardstock paper. And maybe this is heavier. Has to be tore down. That was a fun sound. Okay. Yeah, probably needs to come down just a little bit more. I was trying to get it to, because it's full, to get it as wide as possible. Although I like the skinny part, but I'm going to put it in kind of weird. I'm going to do this side from the bottom so that I can get it where I want it, and then I'll put this one in from the top. And I like to get it in there good and tight. Yes, it's going to gator mouth, but what do we expect for what we're using it for, right? So a little bit hangs out here, not on the other side. I can take that off if I want, but there's my book. These signatures are kind of tucked in there. We may find that after a while we want something that's a little bit longer that, you know, really holds it in there. But for now, I think this is going to work. So now we're going to take it to the next step. That only took us an hour. I didn't think it would take that long. But if Laura wouldn't ask her question, I wouldn't have realized what I had forgotten. So we must thank Laura for that. And then Kim for reminding me what I forgot. This is a group effort. In case y'all haven't realized, I have had people pushing me from behind to get in here and do this. And I really wanted to keep the community having something to do. It's not the same, and I'm not asking you to buy anything. I do have lots of stuff for sale, but it's just because I destashed when I destashed Defy. So anyway, now we're going to go and do what I was thinking originally of using it. And I'm going to concentrate on this one right off the bat. I got to move a few things to get to my fun bits because the big bits are on top of them. And I have two little containers of fun bits. Okay, first off, I have this little bitty, this was just in there. So I'm going to I'm just going to glue it on there lightly because I can tear it off to use it. It's probably the last one I have. So I don't look for flowers in my little box of stuff. So I'm going to use a glue stick because that will help me get it off easier if I decide to pull it off. If not, it's just going to be a really gorgeous embellishment on my absolutely amazing book. Well, you're welcome, Susie. I think it's going to be okay. And you know what? That's the bottom. This is the top because I don't like this on the bottom. Okay. So that's really on the back. That's okay. Because we want it to open this way. Okay. So what am I going to make? What do I want to do? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Just like I said, I knew what my mind saw and what I thought I wanted to do. This was one of the things I showed the other day that I'd like to do. This would be a short project. This is on a roll of tickets. If you don't have tickets, you can do a skinny strip of paper and do this. I just like the idea of the tickets because I could staple all my stuff on, and then I have this. So I could hang this in my room off of something and have it for decoration, and then somewhere down the road I'll go, oh, I really, really like this one, and I can just pull it off because I made sure I stapled away from the perforations. So we're going to start off with this one, and I'm only auditioning them where I want them because my thought is, okay, so I put this right here, and I'm going to lift this little piece of lace. I put some ribbon over here, so now I've lost my stapler. And I'm going to come in here and staple it with one staple. The lace covers up that staple. Now, when I get ready to use this, I can come in here and I can cut this out, and I have another layer to my cluster. So, you know, I used a ready-made cluster, yes, but we're going to just whip one out real quick. And no rhyme or reason. And in here, I do have thread and to sew these on if I wanted to. A single stitch and a knot is probably fine. I have some die cuts. I have some little, oh, I do have another flower. I have some other threads. And so there's nothing saying that I can't just, you know, this is a real cool piece of paper. And so let's just put it in our book. I'm just putting a little bit of glue because we all know we can usually lift up glue stick. So there we go. There's a piece of paper in there. This is a source book. We're going to be able to use this. Okay, Jamie, we're not going anywhere. And, you know, I may only want to use part of it, so I might not pull the whole thing out. You don't know what you need down the road. And that's okay. That's cool. We can make this all work. So another thing I thought about is some kind of ribbon or fabric or whatever. And of course, you know, I like things different. So I'm going to cut this like this. And I'm just going to work on this first page right here. And I'm just going to kind of staple these on. So now I can pull them off for something. And let's put some more on here. Since they're already done, let's do it this way, one on each side. So they're little flaggies that are going to stick out a little bit. And if you do anything that sticks out on this side, you got to, you know, remember if you want a closure to be careful that it doesn't get stuck in it. But then again, that fold you put in there might be just perfect. So let's do, out of my way, guys. We're going to have a dump. And let's see, we've got this cool piece of paper. And no, this one's okay. There's a circle-y kind of thing cut out there. Oh, we don't want that yet, because we're going to put some of this. Then we're going to put this and this little bit of lace right there. But what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up, staple, And then we can put a dab of glue right there just to hold the lace down over that staple. So there's another little spot we can do. And let's just add it right here. Nope, it looks the same. So let's put it on something so that if you want to use this when you cut it out, you can. Or when you go to take it apart, you still have the back paper attached if you want it. So there we go. Now we may end up realizing we needed less pages because it's going to get pretty darn bulky. And we may have to come up with a closure before it's all over. So that is my plan. I'm just going to keep adding things in there. Even, I don't use these often, these little Tim Holtz people. Karen tends to buy photos and cut them up and use the images of people, and I kind of like that. And I have another project I'm working on. It's a doll of sorts, and I need heads, and most of the Tim Holtz dolls' heads are too small for what I have planned. So maybe we want something like this. And again, you can staple it, you can glue it, you can sew it, whatever it is you want to. Let's just, okay, we're going to do it this way just because I want to try something. So I want to use this little guy in here because I might use him down the road somewhere. And I don't want to forget I have him. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to staple him. And, oh, now I need him. So what do I do to get him out? I can come over here and I can flip these back. If you have a staple remover, which in one of my little Lazy Susans, I just happen to have one. And I can just pull that out. And now he's ready to go in a book. Yeah, he's got a little mark on him. Little grunge, little ink. You'll never know. So I'm going to put him back here because I just wanted to make sure he could come out with a staple. And you could even staple where one of it goes through him and the other goes just off of him. So, yeah, I didn't know I really needed the heads until recently. So that's kind of all I have planned for this, is to just, see, this is a magazine. Now I have to decide which one I like, which side I like, if I'm going to glue it, because you are going to make it messy. So I'm probably going to not glue that, maybe not even use it. Oh, and this is something else I thought of that would be really cool, is just, okay, let's find a couple things to put on here. I'm kind of thinking this is going to be its own little kind of cluster-like thing. And I bet I have to put more staples in here before I'm done. I'm going to glue this on over the staples because this is going to be a little finished product. And I don't know about anybody else, but when I sit down and make little clusters and little bits, I love components. I love components. And in fact, that's one of the things I'm thinking about doing on a Saturday. You could make pockets to hold things. That's a great idea. So I'm wanting to do a day where I do nothing but make components and put things together, because I'm working on a project for myself that I kind of need that. So I'm not finding what I'm wanting here. So, oh, here we go. Here's a couple little things. I don't know why I saved these little bitty bits like this, but I did. And now I'm kind of glad I did, because I didn't know I could just stack these up and be happy with them. And then there's me, who always adds a little color somewhere. There we go. Last thing I needed. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go in upside down so I can get this behind the butterfly. So there's me a little cluster. You could ink the edges, however, but you know what? You may find that you want to bring out the red in this for one project, or the turquoise for another. And then all you have to do is put this right on top of that with a staple somewhere. If you want to make sure you don't mess up anything, you could staple right into the tag and not the rest of it, which is what I'm going to do right now, because that one little staple should hold that in there, and I can pull that off and not mess up my cluster. I'm going to have to put something on that because that's sticky from the envelope. So let's just find a couple little pieces of paper. I don't like that one. There we go. Part of a check. And you could easily, paper clip some of these things in. And I have one of those staplers that don't staple, but it cuts the paper. Excuse me, I needed a drink. That might work for some of these too. Like I said, I'm using the stapler. There's lots of different ways. I kind of went with this mostly because we don't all want to sit here and watch my glue dry. And then we've got all these little bits that we pulled off earlier on other things that can go in here. And I'm going to take someone's suggestion, and we're just going to find this page right here. And we're going to take one of these. Nope. One of these that's already cut and folded. And no, yeah, we'll do that. No, wait, we're changing our mind. We just thought of something else. So these two pages, instead of adding in another page and making a pocket, which if you folded these, where you had some good sides, not all the white sides, it would still be pretty. But then you could also fold them over on themselves for smaller things. That would be cool. I'm trying to, I know what I want to do, and I know I'm making a pocket. I just haven't quite figured out how I want to go about that. Sort of adding something else to it, but I'm going to anyway. So I'm going to, again, use the stapler. I think I might have really preferred to glue this, but and depending upon what you're going to put in here and how close you would staple it. So there's a pocket, and I only want one side of it sticking out, so I'm going to come over here and cut this off. It's kind of nice putting grid on the back of your papers that you print, because then you know where to cut them. And again, I would love to see what you make. I would love to have any suggestions you have for something you want us to make together. Oh, I should have folded this back over on itself. because it doesn't want to close properly. So we're going to fix that. We're going to give it its own dart. So now this little pocket is tailor-made for that page. There we go. Now, I personally don't like the feel of the staples, so I am going to use a little washi tape. I'm going to use some I just made yesterday because it went with my book that I was working on yesterday. And I just got this new brown tape, and I just stamped on it. That's all I did. I have a lot of washi tape. I have a lot of it on my Facebook page for sale, and yesterday I took 51 more rolls of washi tape that I don't want and put them with it. So I have a lot of tape, and I don't really use it. Yeah, Arlene put my email in there, so if anyone wants to send me anything on there for suggestions, because I don't always see everything. So now I've saved that, and it adds to prettiness of the book, and you may find out when you're done, you want this to be pretty. You don't want it to be a source book. So, okay, so we have this circle that I didn't know how I wanted it to go. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. We're going to put it in here. I was going to put it in this one, thinking that it was smaller, but it might fall out into the crack. And this heart, we don't want to glue that in. And this tab, we want to be able to get to that. And we can even, take a corner out so we know it's a pocket when we're going through it quickly, because I know I forget these things. Freeform envelope flop journal, a bracelet, and a wire wrapped ring. A multi-strand bracelet, I meant to say. I'm game for any jewelry. It's been a while, and I know that I've already had requests for my sticks, and I love to do these sticks. I can only go for so long because then I get kind of like bored of them, which is pretty much with anything. So now I have this pocket, and if I wanted to take some of these little bits, some of the bigger bits that I don't know for sure, but I want to keep them together because I think that eventually they'll all become something. There we go. So we have that too. So this could take, hours upon hours to fill. This might be one of those things you just let it do its own thing. You put in what you've got ready, and then when you're done, you're done. And then you use part of it, and then you'll say, oh, well, I got room to fill it up again. So we're going to take the spine out, and we're going to come into one of these, and we're going to do something on some of these pages. And we can even use what we used as the cover also. So I want to keep it bottom up so that my stuff stays flat on the bottom. I know that's kind of anal for me, but it is what it is. So let's do this page right here. Let's find something we want to put on there. So this would be a cute little tab. So we're going to just put that on there. And I'm gonna, because I told you that's one of the things we could use. We're going to use the white because it's already open. And I hate to thread a needle, so I'm going to use a long piece. This is an upholstery thread, so it's pretty strong. We're going to do this if we can thread the needle. I do have a big eyed needle here, though, for single thread. If I can't do that, then I need to stop doing what I'm doing. Okay, so I like this as the thought for a tab somewhere down the road. So I'm just going to give it a couple of stitches or a couple of holes and tie knot, and if I don't pull my end through. Sometimes you need one more hand for knots on paper. So it's not in there real good, but it's not going anywhere. And it's going to be super easy to pull out when you want to use it for something else. Yeah, we're going to do something with matchbooks and matchboxes. I've played around. I haven't got all my sources found out, but I am going to, if the materials are not something easily found that most people will have, or if you just prefer to have a kit, I will have kits. Some of them will just be cost of shipping, and some of them, because I have some donated supplies, like I said earlier, I got backers. This makes me sound so important, doesn't it? I mean, I got people in the background that want me to do this, that want the community, and they're helping out. So, you know, there may be kits that I have to charge for if I'm having to go buy supplies or, you know, however that may go. But I love making kits. That's the one thing I miss the most. Sponsorships, yeah. I just, I want to do something in slow stitching. I got to tell you the story of my bathroom. I ordered a really cool hippie looking curtain and it didn't come, and I was so disappointed, and I hunted and finally found one that was adequate. It's bright, it's colorful, it's great big flowers, it still looks hippie, but it isn't quite what I wanted. So I'm making all my decorations to go with it. And that's where the beaded sticks are going in a vase on the shelf, and I want them just sticking out. I got these metal sea urchins that are bright colors that match my curtain, and I decided that I want to hang strands of things made out of things. There's some fabric clusters stitched together. There is felt balls that are stitched on and paper beads and just funky components. And I love components. I love just making all this and then putting it all together in whatever form I think they need to be. And they don't have to match. And I'm okay with that. So since we have the needle and thread out, we're going to just, we're going to take this page right here because it's right here. And we're going to put, and these are on the inside, so you want to be careful of what sticks out on the end. I'm going to put a couple pieces of lace on here. I'm trying not to pull my thread all the way through. And I'm not even going to tie this one because it's lace and I don't have to worry about if I'm messing up the paper. I'm just putting a few stitches so it kind of tacks it there. And I'm just doing this. And you know what? I just found a new page edge that I think I like. I'm not big on putting lace on the edges of things, but I'm liking this because I had taken a styrofoam ball and all these little bits of lace and trim that I'm using is that were stuck in that styrofoam ball. I decided to pull them out. So they're already crinkly and wrinkly. And I'm just going to do another stitch. Is that not the coolest? Wouldn't that make a cool edge? Because it's all crinkly and wrinkly. And if you can see, I really didn't stitch well. It's just messy, and it's several stitches together to kind of keep it in place. And then we snip it. So this one, you just have to pull out your stitches. So that's a cool idea. See, we're all learning today. Yay! I know you're not all 3 years old, but I'm excited because I'm learning something too. And that's all it takes. You just have to play. And that's what I like to do is play. I don't consider that this is hard work or anything. It's just I'm just playing. So let's no, we don't want this one. We'll do this one. See, this is pretty and grungy. So we're gonna do kind of a cluster here. I gotta have that red number showing. I don't know why. I forgot what I was going for. Had a senior moment. And it's kind of fun to limit yourself. If you've got a bunch of scraps, pour out a bunch on your table, your work area, and that's what you can use. You can't use anything else. Although, sometimes we do know exactly where that, oh, I know that this thing would look perfect with this, and that's exactly what I want. Then you can grab those. But otherwise, let's keep it simple. Kind of like Jamie said, use what's on your desk. And I like this, and I don't want the word to have a staple in it, so I am going to glue that onto the top of this because I'm not needing it to be stuck in the book. I need it to be stuck on the cluster. So we just made a quick little cluster. They're ready to pull out when we want it. Again, we can pull out the staples if we got to remember that these are stacked, which I'm sure I wouldn't remember. But, I think I would probably tear out this paper with it. Oh, there you go. A junior moment. I need more of those. So anyway, this is kind of, anybody got any questions? It's, anything they want me to do, try that's legal. I'm not going to do anything illegal. I had some cute little mushrooms that I cut out of some paper, and I don't know where I put them. I put them somewhere safe. I don't really want to staple this, so let's make another pocket. This time, I'm just going to fold this one up like this. And again, I'm stapling because I can. Which, because I can, has been my motto for a very, very, very long time. A very dear friend of mine that's no longer with us even made me a sign in orange, and it's hanging in the other corner of the room that says, because I can. So I'm doing this covering of the staples. And you could cover this with washi tape. You could, or Scotch tape, masking tape, whatever your tape of choice is that you want this to be, you could use tape to put this stuff in even. And I don't know if I lost my top, and yeah, we're still good. We're still good. So, I'm going to put a couple things in here that maybe I don't want stuck onto something. So this is kind of I know I put that on that side and I wanted it on this side. Oh, well, it's my book and I'll do what I want. That's right. And there's no reason that says you have to make this like a source book. especially if you don't make a lot of journals, but you just want to make this book, make this book. Make it how you want it. Don't be haphazard. Pick the things you like, and you know, make a book. But do keep in mind, 90% of what I make is haphazard. It's whatever happens, happens. And I love all of it. So there you go. That sounds like a plan, Arlene. So I'm just putting a little bit of tape to cover those staples. And, maybe I want to do something, like you're at the end of your washi tape. And there's, probably 2 feet maybe. And you're afraid that you won't remember to go grab it out of the correct container. Wrap it on a playing card, which I don't really have any of those anymore. And you can stick it in a pocket. Or you could, staple it onto the side and just put your tape on it. Yeah, I don't usually run out. Not when you have a stacked tower of 1, 2, 3. I think it's 6 containers that stack on top of each other, full. And I've cleaned it out twice. It's ridiculous. I don't need it. I don't really use it, but I love it and I don't want to part with it. Isn't that crazy? Crazy, crazy. So, anybody have any questions? Anything? Their suggestions to help with whatever we put in here? I mean, input, people, whatever you think. If you got any ideas. I think I'm just going to whip out a quick cluster. And I'm going to use just stuff. Oh, this is the pages that were left from my other book that I didn't use because I really picked out a lot. So, all right. If you don't put it back in the right spot, you don't find it. I am going to have to glue that flower on. I have yet to find the right bottle that works for white glue. That's exactly what I was looking for right here. Again, I have to get out this glue. Yes, that's a good idea. That's what I should do because then I could use up some of that washi tape. Look, really simple, but it's so pretty. And if I always want to, in my opinion, I always want to find some place to put this so that if I decide I want to use that with it, I can. And then I could just tear it off right here, and I have a cluster that is already, everything is included. And that is a good way to use up the whole book. So this would be ready to pull off at about right there and use on something. Cool beans. I had some Fabri-Tac, but I don't use it fast enough, and it gets yucky. I had thought about the glue press because when I work on the sticks, and I've been covering cord too with the ribbon because I found a whole nother box of ribbons, fabric ribbons. I bought a quick dry fabric fusion by Eileen's, and I like it, but when you're doing that, you pick it up a lot, and I want it upside down so the glue's always there because I don't want to sit and shake it every time I want to pick it up. So right now I'm using the lid from Eileen's Tacky Glue, and it doesn't quite fit. So I had thought about that, but this has got to be similar to Fabri-Tac. It's excuse me, it is flammable, and it does sort of have the smell, but it's not as strong. I got the hiccups now. And I didn't know if the precision press for the glue would hold this kind of glue, or if it wouldn't work, if that makes sense. So I guess I need to find something, Valerie. I haven't really looked because I just got this glue, and I do like it. I could use hot glue and it would be faster, but hot glue there's too many strings and I get tired of pulling them all off. So anyway, does anybody have any suggestions on what they want to see next month? And I did list underneath the video again the dates. I will try to always keep the same time slot that we've all been used to, but it's not always going to work because my husband's off every other weekend. And if we don't go somewhere or have a plan, he usually gets called back in. So in November, I'm also going for the same time slot that we've been used to. And for November, it's going to be an hour later. We're not going to start until 11 Mountain Time because it's our citywide cleanup. And I got a lot of stuff I want him to take out there. And if I'm not out there to help him do it, he's not going to take it all out because some of it's been there for way longer than it should. And I want to make sure it gets out there. I'm so, you can't tell by my desk right now, but it's, the clutter is just about to drive me nuts. So anyway, like I said, there's lots of things I want to do, and for that trigger thing, the precision thing, I know it has its own bottles. So like I said, I don't know if this is gonna react with that plastic or not. And I don't want to put a bottle of glue in there, and then it eat through the plastic and ruin the whole thing and the glue. So anyway, so what is everyone's suggestion for next month? I kind of know what I want to do. I really kind of want to do the sticks, but if somebody's got something better, I'm game. I'm pretty open. I have a lot of things started. I have a lot of ideas. And I do want to state that I made my first sticks. Just picked the sticks up out of the yard and did them. And then someone, I won't name names, said, "How long do you cook your sticks?" And I said, "What?" Well, you really probably should. And I'm going to explain why, because, well, they told me why, because, there might be bugs or something in the stick that you don't know. So I brought home from vacation a bunch of sticks from my in-laws' yard. And I just bundled them up and wrapped them up in plastic trash bag. Yeah, I baked mine in the oven on like 275 for an hour. If anything lived through that, then, well, they need to be alive. But so I put them in there when I took them out of the car, because we did a 2-part vacation. And the second part of it was in my family's hometown. And so all these sticks stayed in the same plot all the time, and or spot in my car. And I noticed when I brought them in, there was this little yellow piles of dirt, like sawdust. And I didn't think anything about it. I had broke a few of them, so I thought it was just from that. And I didn't do anything with them. I kept them bundled, and I got a tub lid and put it on the counter or one of the shelves in the closet of my art room, and just set them on there. And when I went to pick them up, there was more little piles. So there was something making these little piles of yellowish dirt, sawdust, or something like that. And I put them in the oven, like I said, for about an hour, maybe even a little longer. I did it until the smell was too much for me. It didn't stink. I just didn't like the smell. And put them back on that tray, and I have not had any little more piles of anything. So I'm glad I did. I do the ones that I have that I got out of my own yard. I didn't bake them, so who knows what's going to happen in my bathroom with all those little sticks. Nothing has ate through, and I don't really have trees. What I used was a rose bush and crepe myrtle, and they were all dead pieces already, dead still on the trees. So, or the bushes rather. So, maybe I got lucky. I don't know. We'll find out someday. Maybe we won't. Maybe the new owners of my house, whenever we decide to get rid of it, will find out, and we don't have to. So I found my little mushrooms. They were in a little bag. I die cut these. I picked this up on a clearance sale for these tiny little mushroom dies. Aren't these cute? So, I probably wouldn't want these stapled down. So these are going to go in one of my pockets that I made. I thought I made a pocket in here. Or did I just talk about it and not finish it? That could happen easily. I must have talked about it and didn't finish it. Well, anyway, there's a pocket here somewhere. I know there is. Y'all, there, nope, that's not it. Y'all seen me make it. Here we go. We'll put these over here in this little side. That's, I think I made another one, but I don't know where it's at. So anyway, oh, there it is. So like I said, this can be whatever you want it to be. Oh, and you don't have to do one per page. I mean, you may say, okay, I like that. And this, sometimes I like to organize, sometimes I don't. So maybe I want this to be somewhere in the same vicinity as this because I think they're going to go together. And then maybe this one would go with that. And I'm just putting on a tiny bit of glue. If you had a glue pen, that would be absolutely perfect because you could just put a little dot on there. That would be fun, Valerie, to make a book like this and then swap it and people put their own, say have put 5 things in there. We wouldn't have to make them this big, keep it smaller for postage, but that would be fun. And maybe that's something we can do down the road is have some kind of swap. That would be amazing. But don't forget too that you can just, okay, so these are same. Whoops, sorry about that. Did not mean to knock y'all over. These are some of my favorite pieces. I love these pieces and I want to make sure they go in the right book because I hope to fill this and it's going to be my go-to for all my little books. That's the concept. I'm not saying that I'm going to, but I'm just saying that I'm going to try. I'm going to try to use this as I intended it. And okay, I like this whole thing. And we're going to just do this. And we're going to do this end because it's not as painty. And now I've got all these little pieces. They're right here. And I can pull this book out and I know that my favorites are in here. And so all I'm going to have to do for this is I made sure I put the staple in a place that could be torn so I can just tear them off. Or I can pull the staples out, whatever works. And anybody have any questions? I'm kind of like, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do because for some reason I can't think right now. I can't think of anything else that I've went through all the supplies that I had, and I don't know if y'all want to just sit here and chat and watch me tuck and glue, and at least I'm not tucking and rolling. For some reason, it's easier to staple on this side. You got to be on the paper to make it staple. But let's just add a little to this. So okay, so I've got those on there. Let's close this up and see how it goes. Let's make sure I didn't cut up and use my spine. Bye, Sue. I've made a decision. We are doing sticks next month. So Off the top of my head, I'm going to come up with what you need real quick. You're going to need sticks. You're going to need fabric strips, sari silk strips, whatever kinds of strips you want. And you're going to need some thin wire. And you're going to need beads. And you're going to need strings and yarns and threads. The more color, the better. And I'll come up with a more detailed list and do a short video of what it's going to be. At the latest, it'll be the Thursday before the Saturday, but I'm going to try for sooner. I'm a good procrastinator. I really am. So we have this, and it's not even close to full. So I may need to find something different for my spine, and I may need to find something to keep it closed. So maybe I want to take a piece of sari silk and just tie it. That's an option. You can tie it whichever ways, but I do have some paper things sticking out the side, so I'm kind of thinking I might leave that alone. So I wanted to show you this in case you didn't see it earlier this week. These are my receipts from, I believe, Albertsons, the grocery store. And I just stitched them all together. And then on using like Solvay, the dissolvable stuff. I'm losing words today. Anyway, lay them down, stitch them up, dissolve the stuff I used, and then I just kept doing this and this and this and this. And this would be really cool. You know, maybe I could have made a piece big enough that I could have wrapped that around it so that it would be, which I still could. I could do this and make use a safety pin or something. I don't know. There's so many things you could add to this. I really think if I finish it, no, I'm going to be positive. When I finish it, I will have a really nice book to pull up and use when I make little books. Now, probably big books too, but you know, little books is where I'm going to start because I like them. And there's nothing saying we can't decorate the front, just as, you know, maybe you're going to want to put things on the front that you can pull off, and maybe you just want to decorate it. I think it would be totally up to you. I'm afraid that if I put something on there, I'm going to find the perfect spot for it down the road. So I'm not sure how I want to do that. But anyway. And I was telling you guys about using the printables to make other things, especially if you've made mistakes on them. And then I was talking about my AARP book that I made. So I'm going to share that real quick because I'm in love with it. I haven't made books for ages. And now all of a sudden, I want to make books. It's crazy. And the beads are sitting over there. And that's what I'm spending my money on. So this was the AARP book. I had cut it down to, this is the size. And I cut the other part as a pretty normal size book. And I made my first cut here. And I thought, this is going to be a book. So I took the pages and I pulled a lot of them out, and then I covered them all, or I painted them all. Some of them I tried watercolor. This one is probably going to still get mostly covered because my pink paint really was wrong. I mean, it was nothing but water. And then I was like, what am I going to use it for? I thought about models and giving them my own clothes, or, you know, making them their clothes. Anyway, I decided that it's going to all be flowers. This was a printable that I had messed up when I printed it. It didn't print the whole page. So it had the flower, and I just doodled around it and made it my own. Cut this out of that messed up paper for a little vase. And all of these are just, like I said, they're just collaged. And I had the most fun sitting down with my box of scraps and just started gluing them down. I didn't pay attention to nothing. And I did do some painting, and I did, um, you know, full sheets, like this was a tissue paper, but most of them are just pieces. And here's another flower. This was done on a painted dictionary page. This was cut out of jelly prints. And then I originally had these that I have already drawn that I was going to use, and they're pretty on there. I'm not going to say they're not. But then I realized that if I colored them, I really liked them. So I made some flowers on book pages, and I'm cutting them out. I just partially cut this one because after I got done, I was like, oh, maybe that's too wide for the book, but it's not. And I just drew a bunch of flowers and doodles on book pages, and I decided to color them. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So this was my last night's project. This is what I worked on. And so, and I have a ton of these, and I have some on brown paper. There's no reason we couldn't take these and, stick them in a pocket. And we may find out going along that we want way more pockets. Maybe that's just the way it's best for the things we want to put in here. My intentions are that I can put them in where I can reuse them. Probably won't always work that way, but I'm going to try. And like this one here, this is the center. This would be another one to be a good pocket. Maybe put your thinner pages down even with the bottom instead of trying to center them. And then you have a pocket that's got a lot of space. This would be a really good travel book. To take with you wherever you may go, so you can have all these supplies at hand in one spot. This, your little book that you're working in, and a pair of scissors, some glue, a small thing of paints if you want them. Boom, you got a whole kit that you could work on for days. I know a lot of people travel and see the world. I travel to see what I can get done in my journals and in the car. I love to craft in the car. I love to craft in a hotel room because I don't have to clean up my mess, and I don't get distracted by the set of dishes or these other things that may be going on. And my husband likes to go through lots of things, and I can't do that much walking. So it works out pretty good. Well, Jamie, we're going to have to work on you for that. So I have these cute little hearts. Stick them all in that pocket. You may find things you didn't even know you had by finally organizing them. But we want to call this a snippet book, not an organizer, because when you think organized, then nobody gets it done. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it. It's been 2 hours, and I hope you all have the concept of the book. Again, my email is jeanpeterartist@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, suggestions, you're welcome to leave them all on the video. I'm more than happy with that. I just might not see them right away, but I will check the email. And I will talk to many of you soon, and I will see you all next Saturday, November the 1st at 11 Mountain Time. I know YouTube puts it on for you at your time zone. So we're good there. You guys don't have to do the time zone math, maybe. So thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate it. I had fun. I'm not so nervous, and we'll be able to come up with some fun things. And I need y'all to be a little more sassy in the box, please. Take care. Everyone have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.